where does your daughter live? And of course, she said, well, it's Columbus. So pretty near an hour away. And I said, well, great. Well, when's the last time you seen your daughter? She says, oh, about 5 months ago. She's busy. She's working hard. She's in a practice. She's trying to finish her degree, and she wants to become a physician's assistant, blah, 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 right? So I'm saying, well, Martha, how is she going to come in and caregive for you without having to give up her career? Stop chasing her dreams, her goals. How is it going to affect the grandkids? Are you moving there? Are they moving in with you? You see, even if your child is a healthcare worker and knows medical, just because they know about what goes on doesn't mean they can facilitate your care. And she said, Scott, you know what? I never really looked at it that way. And then once we did that, we were able to talk about, the reality of putting a plan in place to truly help that family. So
that's a big deal too. That's a really big deal, because, think about what it was like when, at least I do, when I was younger. There was no involvement with the kids and the parents. The parents were like, it's none of your business what we have. It's none of your business what we're going to do. Here's this, and we want to make sure that we want to put some money aside for you. Well, another way times have changed is a lot of times the kids have more money than the parents did. So why not, if you're the kid, just say, go ahead, take care of yourself, make sure you have your stuff planned for, and don't worry about us. If you want to leave us something, that's great, but, do what you need to make yourself comfortable, and that way we'll both be happy.
Yeah, that's a wonderful point, Brandon. Wonderful point. And that's one of the things that I try to do with my company over the last 25 years is actually to reach out to my clients' children, not to tell my clients' children, how much assets my clients have or that kind of stuff. And I always do it with permission, but I want to help educate those kids, because those kids, if I'm dealing with a retiree client, a 65-year-old, 70-year-old client, well, their kids are in the 45, 50s. Well, those kids should be planning for long-term care. And they understand in today's crazy society that the cost can be huge. So if I can help those children kind of understand, adult children understand the significance of long-term care, now we can help them plan more, not only for the parents, for mom and dad, but also for them. Because you're right, they're building up a 401k and an IRA and all that kind of stuff. And if their assets are depleted, especially at a younger age, caring for mom and dad, how are they going to possibly retire? So kids are very interested in learning about this and becoming educated on how this can affect mom and dad and them. It makes sense.
Right. And then, a lot of times you'll hear people say, well, I'll just, rely on Medicaid. And when it comes to that, if you have to go into a nursing home or anything, you don't have a choice. You go where they put you, right?
Yeah, you better believe it. I always tell people, if you're going to count on Medicaid, you better get a big lunch, baby. Because guess what? You got to spend down your assets. There's a division that occurs. You spend down your assets. And then you're in a situation where you qualify for Medicaid. You're going to go in the closest Medicaid bed available. And I specifically had a situation about a year and a half ago with one of our clients here. She'd ran out of dollars. She went into Medicaid. And she's got 3 children working their tails off, right? 3 children. And, of course, she went into a facility right down the street from 2 of her kids. Well, that only lasted a short period of time because she went on Medicaid. There was no Medicaid beds available. So the closest Medicaid bed available was 66 miles from her house. So now all of a sudden her 3 kids they were going to see her about every day, now are lucky to go down there every month. Because, again, you don't get to pick and choose with Medicaid. You go into the place that's available, the place that has beds, and your choices are a lot more limited. And that's okay if that's the stage in life, but if you want to be able to plan properly, and most people don't want to give up their independence and their choice is the key, then planning helps you protect those choices in the future. And I think choices in the future are incredibly important in the whole scheme of things.
And that's a big thing is if you plan, the more choices you have.
That's the key. That's the key right there. You either plan or you don't plan. There's no in between. I tell people all the time, listen, you're either in or you're out. There is no in between, because if you don't plan and you don't do nothing, that's not planning. That's a decision. It's not planning. So you're either in or you're out, man.
Yeah. There's no such thing as planning to not plan. That's That is horrible, horrible planning.
Yeah. I don't want to make a decision. Well, okay, you just did that. What? You just did. You don't make a decision. That's a decision.
Right.
Plan.
So you want to go on the ostrich plan where you just stick your head in the sand.
Exactly
Yeah.
Right.
That's crazy. So you're out of Dayton, Ohio. What makes Ohio unique, or Dayton unique as a market?
It's just a great Midwest city, with lots of hardworking people in this area. People that work their whole life to accumulate what they have. Dayton's gone through some ups and downs like any other city with losing some industry and that kind of stuff. But again, hardworking Americans that have worked their entire life, and they just need to plan, like anything else. And it's crucially important. And the cost in the Southern Ohio, ironically, people think, well, it's Ohio, the costs are a lot less. Well, in Southern Ohio, the average cost for nursing homes today is crazy expensive. I mean, well over $7,000 a month. And so the key is, again, it just gets back to that planning,
Right. And that planning, again, gives you those choices to make the best decisions for you in your physical and your financial health.
You better believe it.
I mean, I'd much rather be in a nursing home with a bowling alley and a movie theater than a cup of Jell-O with maybe some Cool Whip.
Yeah, you got it. Of course, the other thing that makes us different is, of course, the Ohio State University, of course.
OH.
I-O, baby.
Scott, you are also a New York Times best-selling author, and your book is Don't Go Broke in a Nursing Home, and people can get a free copy of that book. We'll let everybody know how they can do that. But is there other ways that people can get a hold of you?
Yeah, of course. Our office. You go onto our website. We got our website's CompleteSolutions.insure, CompleteSolutions.insure, and that's INSURE. And of course, we have our offices in the Vandalia suburb north of Dayton. And of course, you can reach us at the office here at 937-898-2273. And we'll be happy to help you understand this and get you some information. And I'm glad you mentioned the book because, I've always been a big believer in education. And again, if I can get stuff into people's hands to start that educational process, that's the key. And so many people don't go to seminars. They don't become educated because they're so afraid of being sold. Well, listen, you got to get the education. You can't be afraid of being sold because every single person on this line, you got the ability to say no, right? Say no.
Right.
Say it.
No.
Right? I want to sell you this. What?
No.
Say no. No. See, so every one of us can say no. So the key is you got to talk to some people, get some education. Again, call the office. We'll be happy to send you out a free copy of our book, Become Educated. And some of the stuff makes sense. We'll get together either one-on-one or we can do a web call, or a webinar or a phone call and just start the process of education. There's no obligation to do anything, but just become obligated to yourself and become educated.
Well, I love your approach, the holistic approach that you talked about. And getting that whole your financial health and everything, going over that and making it one big sort of educational experience. I love that, and that should help everybody involved.
You better believe it. You better believe it. You just have to learn. I always say our process is discovery, design, and deploy. Right? Discovery, find out, become educated, see what affects you and what doesn't affect you. Then design some different options that may or may not fit you. Look at your options. And then again, either do it or don't do it. But again, become educated and plan for your future. And that's the key.
Well, thank you very much, Scott Leonardi of Complete Solutions out of Dayton, Ohio. It's been a pleasure. We can talk again sometime. It would be great.
Absolutely. I look forward to that.
Thanks for listening to Planning for the Future, the podcast. To get a free copy of Scott's book, call 937-898-CARE. Planning for the Future is brought to you by the Elder Care Media Network and produced by thepodcastproshop.com.